Congressman Joe Walsh with me right now. You've been watching this process play out, and you were telling me you think they'll come to a deal, but it won't be a deal to your liking. Explain.
I think that's where we're heading, Neil. I think there's such pressure and such anxiety to get something done. There's such an obsession with this August 2nd deadline.
Is that a real deadline?
I don't believe it is. I think that you and I have talked about this. It's a floating deadline. We've got government revenues to take care of what we need to take care of. I think a number of us have been advocating the last few weeks, let's get this right. If we have to go a few days, let's do it. But people who have been up here for so long, they're into this mentality that we've got to get something done. They're more easily panicked.
All right, so the Mitch McConnell plan that gets kicked around, Congressman, I'm really trivializing it because I'm not the brightest bulb, but I think the gist of it is put the onus on the president. Congress can sort of slap him down if he raises the debt limit in waves, but if they don't have the numbers to count him, I think 2/3 in each house, the debt limit gets raised, everyone gets a pass, life merrily goes on. You wouldn't like that?
Not at all. I authored a letter, and 87 of my colleagues signed it to leadership 2 weeks ago that said don't ever pass a McConnell plan in the House. It just sort of cedes our responsibility as congressmen and women to deal with this issue. It basically says, Mr. President, go ahead and raise it. We disapprove, and let's move on.
All right, but it would presumably buy time, I guess, to come up with a substantive deal, but I know how that goes, and I read your cynicism. So where do we go? I would imagine in that event, Congressman, our debt is downgraded regardless.
I think the debt is going to be down. There's a decent chance it'll be downgraded regardless. I mean, when we passed cut, cap, and balance last week, the credit rating agencies told us that was the only plan on the table that met their criteria. Everything else we're looking at, from Boehner to McConnell,
and it went nowhere in the Senate.
And it went nowhere. The Senate tabled it as they tabled Boehner last night.
And now you guys in the House are coming back and going to essentially shoot down a facsimile of the Reid measure that's going to come up in the Senate, right?
Yeah. It looks like, again, we're going to play tennis the next 2 or 3 days and keep batting balls back and forth.
But isn't this wasting time?
Oh, I believe it is. And I believe we missed our opportunity for real reform.
Is the battle to say which body is busier, the House or the Senate?
Well, that's certainly what Harry Reid's trying to do right now. But, Neil, let's be honest. The only act in town the last couple of months has been the House. The president has been leaderless on this, and the Senate hasn't passed a budget in 800 days.
So the ratings agencies downgrade, and
probably.
I think that's probably right. Would you be okay standing for principle, forcing that issue? Your critics will say you would have forced that issue.
Well, I think it's going to happen regardless, Neil. I think anything we would have passed shy of real spending cuts, and they gave us an idea, in spending reform, we were looking at a downgrade.
All right. Congressman, I didn't mean to sound distracted. I have audio problems in my ear and hearing voices, red rum, but thank you, Congressman. Very, very good.
Thank you.